Hi everyone, welcome back to the Green-Eyed Ram. I'm Ruthie. I am the Green-Eyed Ram on Facebook, Instagram, and Ravelry. And here I am in a terrific little room. Let me start by saying thank you to all my returning viewers, new people who are watching for the first time. Thank you for joining me for this moment in my life. Where to begin? I do have a list. Let's start with finished objects. What am I wearing? Okay, so many of you who have been following me may know that I have been living the last 5 years in Ecuador, and I raise rabbits, Angora rabbits, and I have other animals on my little farm. And this is the Hanna Jumper. Now, I will give you a better view. Not right now, but I'll insert some pictures so you can see the whole thing. But this is like being wrapped in an Angora rabbit. This is literally 100% Angora. It's cozy, it's warm. I raised the rabbits, I harvested their wonderful, beautiful fur, and then I spun it. And there is a video on my channel of how I did that. And then I created, well, I didn't create this, I made this from a pattern called the Hanna Jumper, and it's delicious. I did some changes to it. I knit it in a larger needle. I had seen, I think it was on Ravelry, there was someone who had done a mohair version, and I thought, mohair, Angora, fluffy, give it a go. So I did. I changed a couple of things in that on the arm, as you can see here, it's very fluffy. Okay, you know my arm is not that big. Okay, I'm a big girl, but not that big. So what I did on the arms is I tapered it down, and when I got here, I love the flounciness of this, and oh, it's so warm. It's like so soft and warm and cuddly, and the pattern is beautiful. You can see the lace work a little better when I do this. White Angora doesn't always show up the lace work because it has an incredible amount of bloom, because it is actually 100% Angora, no mixed fiber in there. That being said, it sheds like a crazy animal. Worse than any cat I've ever owned, worse than my German Shepherd. It sheds. So it's beautiful and it's cozy and it's lovely, but don't wear anything you want not to have white fluff all over. I'm wearing jeans today, and that seems to work really well. The fiber doesn't stick, so wherever it's shedding to, I don't see it, so it's all good. So that was my first finished object. Been dying to share this with you. And my second finished object is these. These are my first ever pair of knee-high socks. And the pattern is called, oh, I had a moment. The pattern is called On the Fence, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. And let me show you the work involved here. Maybe you can see that. There's beautiful color work, lovely ribbing. You can see here the details. And I really explored, because the pattern literally is designed for, maybe to here. And I've never knit. I love the feel of knee-high socks because my thought was I can wear them with dresses. I wear a lot of dresses and skirts, longer ones, and sometimes you don't want to wear tights or stockings and, pantyhose or anything like that. It's not comfortable. But a cozy pair of socks that are fun and have some decorative, mention on it would be neat to kind of, pop out of the skirt, behind the skirt as as you're walking or whatever. Anyhow, so I searched and searched to find a pattern that talked about how to, do the calf. And no matter what size I am in my life, since I've been tiny and grandosta and gordita, I've always had large calves because I was a dancer in another life, ballerina, and so I have great calves and a runner. So those, I'm blaming that. Maybe it's genetics. I don't know. I'll have to talk to my sister. Lorraine, are you watching? Do you have large calves? Do you have that problem when you buy boots? Anyways, so larger calves. So what I did was I started with the large part of the pattern and did the ribbing and the 84, I believe, stitches. And I just started and tested the size and gradually did a decrease as I went down, finally getting to the foot where I actually like a really snug sock. I don't like the feeling of the pearl sides. You see, this is a stockinette, and then the other side is, of course, the pearl side. And this little, the ribbing, the bumps that come from when you do the stockinette, to me, it just bothers my foot. So I wanted a very thick, not so much thick, but woven fiber fabric, so that the bottom of my foot wouldn't notice the bumps, because socks I've made in the past on a bigger needle, I notice it and I won't wear them. So what's the point, right? So these turned out beautifully and I'm really happy with it. So I went down to 56, which is the smallest pattern size. And I have a size 8.5 foot. So worked out really lovely. I'm pretty happy with how the heel, let me show you the heel and the gusset, the heel flap right there is done with a reinforced fluffs with ribbing, and then the gusset coming through, and then it's got the lovely color work on the bottom. So those are my socks, and I was encouraged to do this particular pattern because I joined my first Cal ever, which is a knit along with Dia of Dia's Pod. She's another YouTuber, and she's doing a Cal called Free Socks 2020. So it's meant to be from your stash. Well, if anybody's following me or knows my history a little bit, I'm not in a place where I have a stash. We had been living in Ecuador and left Ecuador to come back for some family business. Got here and I'm in California right now. And the light is kind of blowing out the sweater. Anyways, sorry, distracted, squirrel. So I don't have any of my stuff. I mean, I did bring my needles with me, and I had that, but I don't really have a stash with me, so I actually purchased. But this is great yarn. It's Patton's sock yarn, Croy, and it's lovely. And I'll put in the show notes the type, the numbers. I mean, it's gray and black, right? Gray and black patterns. I think it's called charcoal and gray. Anyway, so that's finished objects. Now, what's next? Okay, how about we move on to acquisitions? Let's not move on to acquisitions just yet. Let me tell you what's on my needles right now. What's on my needles is this amazing, it's called The Starting Point by Locatelli. It's a wrap, and it's a pattern you can get on, I'm just trying to figure out what's the right side. It's a pattern you can get on Ravelry. I've never knit any of her patterns, so it was fun to explore and learn her style, and I was a little overwhelmed at first, but I'm loving it. Okay, so basically you knit with all these different, you can see all the different patterns. There's a little lace in there, there's some ribbing, and you've got 5 different colors, and it's, you know, done in a great technique of decreasing and increasing, and you knit 2 sides basically. So once you've got one side done, you knit the other side, which obviously is this side, the other side. And then once you've got the 2 sides knit, you join them together, which is really cool. I've never done this technique before, so I was thinking, I hadn't read ahead, and I thought, oh, I'm going to have to pick up all these stitches, and whenever I do that, it looks really sloppy, and I'm not really going to like it. Well, you don't, which is the surprise, because from how you've knit those 2 ends, you actually use those stitches that are left on your needle and connect them. So I have started the joining. Da, 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 da. Now, I don't know if you can actually see this. Let me go this way. Hadn't tried this out. Okay, and I really don't want to. So these are the opposite side on some stitch holders. Meanwhile, down here, you've joined and you start your decreasing, and it creates a whole other triangle at the bottom that joins. It's just going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing thing. Why am I a little stressed about it? I'm not stressed about the project. I love the project. I'm really enjoying it. It's going to be an amazing wrap, and it's made with, I found the yarn at Rumpelstiltskin's in Sacramento, and it's Bay Horse Yarns. They have a beautiful, it feels really lovely. It's light, it's a sock weight basically, but it's a merino. I believe it's a super wash. I should probably check that. Anyways, it's lovely, but I'm a little stressed. I want to get this done. I want to get this done so, so, so bad. And why do I want to get it done? We leave on Tuesday. We're going back to Ecuador on Tuesday, and today is Saturday, and so I don't have a lot of time, and I have a lot of things to do. Anyways, so I'm going to squeeze in time here and there, and if I don't get it done, I don't get it done. Now, the decision is, do I bring it back to Ecuador and work on it? I mean, I've got hours of flying, hours. I mean, it's going to take us almost 24 hours to get back to Ecuador from here, because we fly from where we are we're actually in Clear Lake right now. We go to San Francisco. From San Francisco, we fly to Houston. From Houston, we fly to Quito. And from Quito, it's an overnight. You have to wait until the following morning. And then from Quito, it's a short flight to Cuenca, back to where our house is. But the goal is to minimize and simplify. And am I minimizing and simplifying if I'm bringing more stuff with me? No, I'm not. So I want to get this done. And I need the needles. Those are my interchangeable needles, and I do have a stash in Ecuador, and I do want to continue knitting over the next few months while we sort out what's going on there. But I need to bring these needles with me, and I really, really, really don't want to leave an unfinished project when I'm so close. So a little bit of stress. It's okay. The world won't end. Not because of that, as I was recently told on Instagram. So that's where I'm at with that. Okay, so that's a project. And the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is something my brain has been just researching and exploring as another artistic endeavor. I mean, I love to work with fabric, any fiber. And my next thing is, okay, first of all, may I say that I have a wonderful stack of 6 books right here. living in Ecuador, buying English books is really a challenge, finding them. And then, you know, I love books. Books are heavy. And when you're traveling, heavy does not equal sensible when there's other things that can take the place of that heaviness. But having been back in the States in an English-speaking country, I found these books and I love these books. And to be honest, I use my tablet, I do the Kindle thing, I do all that. But I love the texture, I love feeling a book. And there was a watchtower recently that, or no, it wasn't, what was it, broadcast or something? Someone said, oh, I know, annual meeting. Anyways, someone said, you know, with a book, the nice thing about an actual book is your mind tends to remember where in the book I saw that item. It was the top left, it was the bottom right, you know. And so when you go back into that physical hand touchy book, you find the page you're looking for and the thing you're looking for. So I like books. I've always liked books. My dad liked books. He passed that on to me. So the thing I wanted to share with you is this first book I got. Okay, obviously, guess what? No, I did not have a wardrobe malfunction. I had a Ruthie malfunction. I did this whole segment of introducing you to my books and my acquisitions, and they were so awesome. Yeah. Had to get me my drink. That's a shout out to Chevis. And she will understand why. In my favorite me-made cup. Made by me. Anyways. So I'm going to reshoot this section and I hope you enjoy it. I discovered as I was editing the video that I didn't push the button. I thought I was. Now I am. Anyhow, Sashiko. This is, you don't actually pronounce the I in the Japanese. I believe it's Sashiko. Anyways. All right, my headset off. Don't need that. What is Sashiko? It's the rabbit hole for which I have fallen down. I have fallen down this rabbit hole. I am so excited to try this fibery, crafty, interesting thing. This book is called Sashiko, 20 Projects Using Traditional Japanese Stitching. And I just want to read to you the front cover so that you can hear what it is that I am speaking of. Meaning little stabs, Sashiko is a traditional Japanese sewing method that uses evenly spaced running stitches to create eye-catching geometric patterns. It has a humble background, originating as a form of darning, a way to strengthen weak areas of clothing. However, its utilitarian beginnings have since been shed and is now a popular form of decorative embroidery. Sashiko explores this strikingly effective technique and demonstrates how to apply it to a range of useful and ornamental items for the home and accessories and gifts. Minimalist in style, Sashiko sits perfectly in modern interiors as well as traditional environments, giving it a broad appeal. So it looks like a beautiful way to spend some time to slow things down. I have a lot of traveling, as I mentioned, ahead of me, hours and hours, and I was thinking, rather than irritate the airlines with my needles, rather than take a chance of being told to put my needles away and having nothing to do, I decided that I would explore this slow, beautiful form of stitchery and practice. It doesn't require hoop, it just is a needle and thread, and traditionally done on indigo dyed fabric, but there's some amazing things that could be made. Now I'm going to show you a few of the stitch patterns. There's one. But there's so many things that you can do and make. This has caught my eye particularly. Okay, big project, right? This is a curtain, but it looks stunning. Maybe not for a first project. Maybe I'll keep it. That's my problem. I get these big ideas and I'm like, oh, I could do that. And next thing you know, I'm in way over my head. But what I do think, and I'm trying to find it for you now, is I would like to do like placemats or something like that. Ah, yes, here, I found it. Look at that. Does that look absolutely beautiful? And I thought, how peaceful to be stitching away, doing this traditional Japanese art form and practicing it and seeing where it goes. So that's my next endeavor. Sashiko. We'll see what comes of it. I'll share that on my next podcast and let you know what I've done. The next thing I'd like to share with you is another book. It's Socks from Around Norway. My husband is a descendant of Norwegian blood, and I thought, oh, how fun it would be to learn more about the art of the Norwegian knitting style. And the author of this book is Nina Grandond Sather. I hope I know I didn't get that right. Anyways, this book is a beautiful, beautiful book, hardcover, and it's got lots of patterns and lots of information and history. But what I really love is that not all Norwegian things are colorwork necessarily. So these are super pretty and lovely. So lots of things to learn and to do and explore. Some of it gives the history. There's a little bit of maps in here too on where this style came from. So there's lots to be learned in this book. I love books. So that was. Then the next book I wanted to share with you, which I did share with you earlier but never got filmed, is the Noom. Okay, now that's dyslexia and requires a drink. Loom Knitting Primer. It's a book on using different types of looms that you can create things from. I recently bought one like this. It's a sock version for my son. We have yet to explore how that works, but there's lots of ideas and how-tos and instructions and things to do and patterns and different ideas and things you can create. In fact, circular patterns, and it shows you many options. So I'm looking forward to exploring this a little bit and maybe teaching my son how he can also learn to knit without the dexterity of needles. But I'm sure it still works, so he's got to learn. So that'll be fun. All right, so the next thing I wanted to share is from my cottage number 9. Look at this. I ordered this beautiful bag. It is very sturdy, has a nice cotton on the outside. It has drawstring closures, and it's a pretty good size. I'm sure my shawl would fit in there. It has inside, I'm doing a really terrible job showing you, but inside it has little pockets so that you can put balls of yarn or your supplies, and it's beautifully made, and it has a wide bottom so it can stand, which I really liked, you know. And it's My Cottage number 9, and she's on Instagram, and that's where I found her and was following her, and the fabric is beautiful and the colors are terrific, and it's quite thick. I haven't examined it too fully, but it would appear there's layers between, so it's not just the single fabric, because the fabric itself is quite light, but there's layers in between to give it that strength and depth, and reasonable and beautiful, because every project needs a bag, right? My Cottage number 9, and she's got a little tag there. So that was wonderful. And let's see, that was purchased from overseas. Another overseas purchase, which really touches my heart, and I really support this artist. Her name is Katie Green. Many of you may know her as the Green Bean on Instagram and on YouTube. She has her channel. She's an amazing illustrator and artist. This is her business card. So how cool is that? I love it. That's her and her dog. And it's beautifully done, and I will treasure that. It came, I didn't order that, that just came with it. And it came with this beautiful card. This is all done by etching. She actually, this is just a postcard, cardstock. But the original work is done by scraping off the charcoal or whatever the base is to expose the underside. So she does beautiful, beautiful work. Look at the talent there. Very detailed shadowing, textures, really captures the moment. And so I ordered a few things from her to support her creative efforts, and because I personally wanted to have a little piece of her artwork, because it really is. The first thing I have here is a little book, says, Oh, the Potential. It's a little book, and it's got her artwork on both sides, actually, of the book. And inside, you'll find a great ruler, which is huge. When you're working with any fiber arts, having a ruler nearby, if your tape is nowhere to be found, which happens to me really often. Also in here is the needle and hook size conversion, so from US to European sizes, as well at the bottom it has a conversion from inches to imperial to metric, so you can see how to do that. The rest of the book is literally just blank pages, little squares, which I think are brilliant, because honestly I haven't used the book yet, but my intent is that these little squares are great for keeping track of your stitches, keeping track of your rows, and being able to mark them off evenly. It helps you jot down notes on the changes that you might have made to a pattern, or perhaps ideas, or even creating a grid pattern that enables you to do that. So, great idea, terrific little book. The other thing is this beautiful brooch. It's an Angora goat. Check that out. Yeah, and she made that. It's a brooch. Whoop! That just fell out of its box. Anyways, it's a lovely little Angora boat. The other final thing I purchased from her is the British Sheep Breeds tea towel. It's 100% cotton. No, did I need a tea towel? No, not really. But did I love the idea that I was supporting another artist who has created something with her artwork? Absolutely. I love it. And I love being able to say, this is Katie of the Green Bean, and look at that. All of these different sheep and their little names, and at the bottom it says that it says the British sheep breeds. So it lets you know the variety, the Suffolk, the Suey, the borderless, oh gosh, pronunciation is a challenge. But all these beautiful, amazing sheep and their faces and their body types. And she did a lovely job illustrating each and every one of them. And I'm really honored to have a little piece of her artwork. And I'll be happy to have this in my home. So thank you, Katie. Also, another little purchase that I made before my world turned upside down. Oh, just a minute. I ordered, and I literally do not make these kinds of purchases. That's how unique and odd and special this is. I try very hard not to add anything into my life that A, I don't need, or B, I can't house. And I try to keep things minimally. I'm not very good at it, but I'm working on it. So I gave in. And but I gave in with a just cause, because I am really privileged to have had the opportunity to be able to afford, as well as to participate with purchasing a little something from Knitography. Now here is, I didn't purchase this. This is what came. This is her logo and photo. She, the back of the card, I'm going to read it to you. Patricia Ann Fortune is her name, at P4CHEN at Knitography. She's on Ravelry as P4CHEN, as well as Knitography at gmail.com. Says, thank you for your kind support of our little farm. It means so much to my work in maintaining and producing wool from my local heritage breed of sheep. And I will not pronounce or even try the breed. It would also mean so much to me if you would recycle all the packaging material that I have used to send you your parcel. I have carefully chosen materials that can be fully repurposed when sorted. So how wonderful is that? And what did I get from her? Well, I was inspired. I saw something on her Instagram feed, and they're just adorable and useful. They are stitch markers. Now, look at this little stitch marker. Can you, oh, don't look at me, look at it. There we go. So there's one. There's a set of 6. Here's the next one. It's such a cute little sock. Look at the details there. Look at the details. This one's a little stripy sock. This one is a vanilla sock. Little vanilla sock. And another little different stripy sock. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It has a little squeeze hook that you can open to put, you know, your stitch marker on. So it's lovely and it's beautifully done. And I know that the effort that's made to use this beautiful wood from Norway, and to know that I'm helping support a wonderful effort on the part of another woman who is trying to do something amazing in the world. So I'm all in. Let me see. I don't know if there was anything else I missed, but oh, I know. Oh, the surprise. Okay, it's not really a surprise, but as I was talking about books, back to the books. I bought a couple of other books because if you know me, you know that I am a detail researcher. I love to find out everything about everything on whatever subject that is. And in my life when we lived in North America, I had 5 or 6 bookshelves, full-on shelves full of books. Most of them not novels. And if they're not novels, they're how to do something or information about something. And Nova Scotia and Atlantic Canada. Whoop. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island. I'm researching, I'm looking for information. Why? I think it's time for a drink. Surprise! I am researching and trying to find out more information about this place. Nova Scotia is a province in Canada. I actually am Canadian. For those of you who don't know, I was born in Germany on a Canadian military base, raised in Canada by Canadian parents, and now live in Ecuador and the United States periodically because I'm married to an American. Anyhow, we are looking to see where Jehovah's going to send us next. It's exciting. We have not made any decisions, but I wanted to let you know that as you follow me along here in my fibery adventures and the information about my life as I go, I'm going to start including some travel-y bits and pieces, bits and bobs, some information about locations and countrysides, and in a few months we plan to go to Nova Scotia. I don't know exactly when, but it's in the works, and I'm doing the research to find out and see where we're going to end up landing, since a move is in order and we're ready to make that move. Just not sure quite exactly where. So we're researching. It's one location. We have friends who live in France. That's another location. We have friends who live in the United States. Who knows? We're open to be used and to be ready to serve wherever we can in a more and broaden our service and our ability to be able to do things by simplifying our life and addressing our health. And that's really, really important. Right now, it's time. So we're in the research stage. So the next few broadcasts will be about us downsizing, selling our things, our home, our leaving Ecuador, and what that's all about and how do we do that. That'll be some of the content along with my fibery goodness, because I really love to do that too. So stay tuned and enjoy the rest of this video. Oh, okay. So, what have I been up to besides preparing for my trip? Well, I guess it's kind of both. For those of you who may or may not know, we overstayed a lot longer than we expected to on this trip to the United States from Ecuador as a result of some health problems. But all is well. Things are good. We're able to fly, and we will be returning shortly. And I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One is that a funny story. Okay, let's start with the heavy, and then we'll go to the funny, because you know life is like that. The heavy. When you're going through a lot of problems, or you just life in general, when you're going through things, it's important to stay balanced. It's challenging for everyone to keep their mental health as well as their physical health where it needs to be. And I've found that in the last few months, I have kind of literally up and down the roller coaster ride with all the challenges that we've gone through. That being said, it was important for me to kind of step back and analyze and kind of do some reflective thinking in my moments of quiet to figure out how to stay balanced, how to find that joy again, and fix what doesn't work. To fix what doesn't work. Well, I realized that not everyone you're around puts in positive things. Some well-meaning friends may say negative things. They may say things that they don't even realize is offensive. And it's our responsibility as their friend to forgive them and move past their imperfection. That's one thing. But also recognizing how those things affect you personally. And they can. And we are imperfect and we are fragile. And when you're faced with lots of challenges, your own mental health could be at risk. So in my case, I recognized that I was around a person that was quite negative. And I don't think they meant to be. It wasn't a vicious thing. But I found that being around this person, every time I said one thing, they said the opposite, no matter what it was. And it started making me doubt who I am and what my beliefs are and what my faith is and my decisions. And reflecting on whether or not that's true, whether or not I was incorrect, made me realize that their negative way of embracing life was affecting me in a very, very stressful way. And I needed to separate myself from all that negativity. And the moment that I did, to be perfectly honest, an incredible calm filled my heart. And I turned to studying the Bible more and being more reflective. And I realized that when I was around more positive people, especially there was a group of girls, women, that I was around the other day, and we were speaking on this subject. And the subject was when you open mouth and insert foot. And I've done that a lot lately. In fact, I feel like I put both feet in my mouth and struggled to try to get out of that. But what I realized was being with these 4 other women is they too expressed that that's their big challenge, that they are imperfect and that they are going through the same challenge. And one of the ladies said something I thought was so cute. She wants to design an app because the app should be, and if I could explain this correctly, there are a lot of times that we hold our tongue and we don't say anything, and we just listen and we let the person go on, or we don't react immediately to what they said that was so offensive to us, or that caught us off guard. Mostly for me, it's catching me off guard, and I just right. Oh, but I need to shut up and just let them have their say, right? But she said she'd like to have an app that every time that she held her tongue, she would be able to click it and it would say, "Yay, good for you!" And I thought, oh man, we all need to say, "Yay, good for you," when we hold our tongue in difficult situations, because only we know when that is. And sometimes that's exactly what you need to do. So I'm trying to work on not putting my foot in my mouth to begin with, but we'll see. I really will improve. All right, so on to a funny story. I'm going to play a little clip of me going to our storage unit and explaining how I solved some problems. Funny story. Only happened to me, I'm sure. You know, have you ever tried to get a lock undone? Here's what happened to me. I'm here at our storage unit where we've stacked high all our stuff while we're traveling. And down below, there's these little locks. I'll show you so you can get that. See this lock? There we go. So the funny thing about it is, I took it off the thing, and I'm here by myself, and I opened the garage door, got what I needed out, and then promptly took the lock out of my pocket. It fell on the ground. I thought, no big deal. Key's still in it. I picked it up. I tried to put it on. Wouldn't move, wouldn't move. So blonde that I am, I thought, well, why don't I just drop it on the ground again and see if it fixes it? It did. So, never know. Welcome to my crazy world. Bye. Leave it to me. Why did I actually think that just throwing the lock on the ground would make it better? Because I did try. I struggled. I tried and it wouldn't move. And I just thought, throw it on the ground, see what happens. I used to have this old car. It was a Ford, what was it? Minivan. And everything would go wrong with this car. Everything would go wrong. And I was not particularly diligent about repairing things on it, to be honest. Didn't have a clue. B, didn't have the money. And I would have things go wrong like, oh, the signal light doesn't work. Click, click. Oh, it doesn't work? Okay, leave it alone. Come back a couple weeks later. Oh, works just fine. Or, oh, the brake light's out. Okay. I don't know how to change the brake light. Well, maybe now I do, but at the time I didn't. And I would just leave it alone. Come back a few weeks later. Oh, works fine now. So it might have been a wiring thing. I mean, I don't know. So the fact that I took this lock and key and just tossed it on the ground thinking that that would repair it truly blew my mind, because it did. It loosened whatever I had done to it and I was able to put it back on. So, and now I would like to, the next little video I'm going to play now is me in this chair. And when you're working away, doing your craft, or just taking a moment, sometimes music is playing. I have little earpods, and I often will listen to music or watch a YouTube channel or Netflix or something while I'm working on my project. And it was so funny. I found myself like rocking in the chair, and I thought, oh, this is good music. Yeah, I'm chair dancing. And I thought, this is so funny. I'm chair dancing while I'm working here. And here's a little video. See you next time, friends. Bye.